They only push when they think they can control you. The moment you stop giving them that control, they back off. It's sudden, almost shocking, and it feels like you've done something wrong. But you haven't. You may have felt exhausted, confused, like you're constantly walking on eggshells around them. Every conversation feels like a negotiation. Every disagreement feels like a trap. You try to explain yourself, apologize unnecessarily, even when you're in the right, and yet somehow they still seem unhappy. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why manipulators retreat the moment you change how you respond. You'll see the pattern they've been using, why it worked on you for so long, and how to reclaim your power without confrontation. Manipulation thrives in uncertainty. It thrives when you doubt yourself, when you overthink, when you feel like you have to justify your every action. And manipulators are experts at creating that environment. They do it quietly, subtly, so you rarely notice it until you're exhausted, mentally drained, and questioning your own judgment. Here's the first hidden truth. Manipulators push against your boundaries only because they think you will give in. If they see hesitation, if they sense discomfort, they see opportunity. This is why you probably felt cornered. It's not about you, it's about the way they measure control. And when you finally, calmly, consistently enforce your boundaries, they have no choice but to back off. Most people don't notice this because they confuse compliance with safety. You were trained, maybe from childhood or past relationships, to keep peace at all costs, to give in before things escalate. And that behavior signals to manipulators that you're still within their reach. Here's what usually happens. You try to reason with them, you explain yourself, you over-justify, you chase their approval, and they keep moving the goalposts. It's exhausting, it's confusing, and it reinforces the false belief that you need to fix yourself to make them happy. That's the trap. It's not your responsibility to fix their mood, their ego, or their perception of reality. Your compliance is what has been keeping them engaged. The second key insight is this. Manipulators rely on emotional reactions. They thrive on creating friction, on eliciting guilt, on triggering defensiveness. They can't use that power if you stay calm. If you stop reacting the way they expect, their tools lose their effectiveness. So when you maintain composure, when you acknowledge their behavior without feeding it, you remove the fuel that drives their manipulation. And that's when the retreat happens. It may feel abrupt, even disorienting, because you've broken the pattern they've been exploiting. Now, let's zoom in on the subtle signs that you're triggering this reaction. Notice how they test your boundaries. They ask for small favors repeatedly, then escalate without consideration. They use guilt to control your decisions. They subtly undermine your confidence. They make you question your memory or perception. They praise you selectively, then withdraw it unpredictably. All of this is designed to create dependence, to keep you off balance, to make you seek validation from them instead of trusting your own judgment. And here's where most people make the biggest mistake. They interpret the withdrawal, the back off, as a personal attack. They panic, they reach out to repair the relationship, they apologize preemptively, they try to regain control by accommodating. But in reality, the withdrawal is a sign of your power. It is evidence that their usual tactics no longer work. When you stop responding on their terms, they are forced to step back. This is not rejection, it's not hostility, it's a mirror of the control you've reclaimed. The common response people have is to try to push harder, to convince the manipulator that you are still safe to control. They call, text, explain, negotiate, trying to fill the sudden void their retreat creates. This only reinforces the cycle. It signals that control is still attainable, and the manipulator simply resumes the same patterns. The better approach is deliberate. Observe. Do not chase. Do not explain. Do not defend yourself unnecessarily. Let the withdrawal exist. Let it be uncomfortable. And understand that the discomfort belongs to them, not you. This is the power shift. By not reacting, you reclaim your autonomy. You create space where manipulation cannot thrive. You signal that your emotional state is not negotiable. And the manipulator, left without leverage, has no choice but to disengage. Here's a practical way to do it. Set your boundaries clearly and calmly. Decide what behavior you will accept. Decide what behavior you will not. Communicate this once with clarity. Then hold firm without explanation. Do not justify. Do not negotiate. Do not apologize for asserting your limits. When they push, simply reinforce the boundary. I will not discuss this further. I am not engaging in this behavior. And then disengage. No drama, no escalation, just calm, consistent enforcement. You will notice something powerful happening. They stop pushing. They back off. Sometimes they disappear for a while. Sometimes they react with frustration. But crucially, they cannot manipulate you the way they used to, and this is where your identity begins to shift. You see yourself as someone in control of their own emotions, someone whose boundaries are non-negotiable, someone who does not have to earn respect, someone who does not have to chase validation. This is not about becoming cold or unfeeling. It is about cultivating inner clarity. It is about distinguishing between what belongs to you and what belongs to them. It is about reclaiming the space in your mind and your life that was occupied by their manipulation. Over time, your confidence in your own judgment strengthens. You stop overthinking every interaction. You stop preemptively apologizing. You start to notice the patterns that were invisible before. And you begin to choose who deserves your energy and attention. Even when they retreat abruptly, you no longer feel panic, no longer feel guilt, no longer feel the need to chase. You recognize the retreat as a natural consequence of your shift in response, and you allow it to exist without giving it power over your emotions. And here's the deeper truth. Manipulators are not omnipotent. Their influence relies entirely on the ways you have been trained to respond. When you stop reinforcing those responses, their power over you evaporates. It is not about defeating them, it is about reclaiming yourself. You will start to notice a pattern. Every time you assert a boundary, stay calm, and refuse to engage in their expected drama, they retreat. Every single time. And each retreat confirms something important. You are not responsible for their feelings. You are not responsible for their reactions. You are not responsible for their manipulation, and the freedom this brings is profound. No longer tethered to their emotional waves, you begin to reclaim your energy. You can invest it where it matters, in relationships that respect your boundaries, in work that values your autonomy, in a life where your emotions are yours alone. This is the psychological power that manipulators fear. Because it cannot be taken, it cannot be twisted, it exists entirely within you. And once you understand this, you stop asking for their approval, you stop negotiating for their attention, you stop bending to avoid discomfort. Instead, you operate from a place of calm authority. Your presence alone communicates that you cannot be manipulated. Your responses become intentional, measured, controlled, and in that space, the manipulator loses interest because the truth they cannot face is simple. Their tactics only work when you feed them, when you doubt yourself, when you react, when you overcompensate. Stop feeding them, stop reacting automatically, and they have no choice, they back off. And in that retreat, you reclaim more than your peace. You reclaim your confidence, your clarity, your emotional freedom. This is the moment when manipulation stops controlling your life, when the pattern finally breaks, when the quiet, consistent act of boundary setting becomes your strongest tool, and from here, you can live without fear of being pulled into the emotional storm. You can engage without overextending. You can exist without bending to satisfy anyone else's agenda, and that is the truth manipulators hope you never discover. Their power is only as strong as the reaction you give it. Take that away and you take back your life. You have done nothing wrong. You are not overreacting. You are not failing. You are simply choosing yourself, and that is the choice that makes all the difference.